Whenever I listen back to something that I do, it just makes me feel weird.
Hi, my lovely.
Hi.
Welcome to America's Got Talent.
Courtney Hadwin's story is one that feels almost unreal when you hear it for the first time. She was a shy and quiet girl from a small village in County Durham, England, who suddenly burst into the world spotlight with a voice that sounded far older and far deeper than her young age. When she first stepped onto the America's Got Talent stage, she did not look like someone who would change the whole atmosphere of the room. She stood there nervously, her shoulders a little tense, her hands shaking lightly, and her expression unsure of what was about to happen. No one in the audience expected anything extraordinary. But then, she opened her mouth and began to sing, and something magical happened. It was as if all the feelings she had kept inside for years exploded out at once. Her voice was strong, gritty, and full of emotion. People could not believe that a young girl could deliver such soul and power. In that moment, the shy girl disappeared, and a confident performer took her place. The judges were shocked, the audience was on their feet, and millions of people around the world would soon watch that same performance online. It was the beginning of a journey that brought her fame, love, and opportunities, but also pressure, confusion, and heartbreak. Behind the powerful performances and the bright stage lights, there was a young girl who was still trying to understand who she was. Courtney's story is not only about talent or success. It is about what happens when fame arrives too early, when expectations grow too fast, and when a child's quiet world is suddenly replaced with cameras, interviews, and the weight of millions of eyes watching. Her rise was breathtaking, but the challenges she faced behind the scenes reveal a much harder truth about early fame. Before the world knew her name, Courtney Hadwin lived a simple and peaceful life in her hometown. County Durham was the kind of place where neighbors greeted each other, children played in the streets, and families lived without much noise or rush. Courtney grew up in a loving home with parents who worked hard and supported their children in every way they could. From a very young age, her mother noticed that she reacted differently to music compared to other kids. While most children simply danced or hummed, Courtney listened as if the songs were speaking directly to her. She liked old soul singers, artists whose voices carried strong emotions, cracks, and imperfections that made them feel real and human. Courtney would spin around the living room, closing her eyes and raising her hands, pretending she was performing in front of a huge audience. At first, her parents thought it was just a normal childhood phase. But soon, teachers and other adults began to notice that Courtney had something truly rare. During a school assembly, when all the students were asked to sing, Courtney's voice stood out immediately. It was soft but full of feeling, and there was a maturity in her sound that surprised everyone. Her teacher pulled her aside and encouraged her to sing more. Over time, Courtney joined school choirs, performed at small events, and started building a quiet confidence through music. Even though she was shy around people, singing allowed her to express emotions she could never put into words. Her world was small, gentle, and predictable. But inside, she carried big dreams. She wanted to perform on big stages, show her voice to the world, and connect with people through music. She did not know how or when it would happen, but she believed she was meant for something more. What she did not know was that this dream would soon come true faster and harder than she ever imagined. By the time Courtney turned 13, her dreams were bigger than the small village she lived in. She loved her home, but she felt the pull of something beyond it. Her family was not wealthy, so traveling was difficult, yet they always supported her passion. When America's Got Talent opened auditions that year, Courtney begged her parents to let her try. At first, they were unsure. Flying across the ocean for a chance on a TV show felt impossible. But they knew how much music meant to her, how it was the one thing that made her come alive, so they finally agreed. Courtney arrived in the United States with fear and excitement fighting inside her. She watched other contestants rehearse and walk around with confidence, while she sat quietly, trying to control her nerves. When her name was called, she stepped onto the stage wearing simple clothes, a leather jacket, a plain shirt, and jeans. Nothing about her appearance suggested the storm of talent hiding inside. The judges looked at her kindly but without high expectations. And then, her performance began. Her voice started soft and uncertain, but within seconds it changed completely. She turned into a fierce, electric performer that no one expected. Her movements, her energy, and the raw power in her voice shocked everyone. When the song ended, the crowd exploded with cheers. Judges were speechless. And then, Howie Mandel pressed the golden buzzer. Golden confetti fell from the ceiling as Courtney cried in disbelief. In a single moment, everything changed. Her life, her future, her dream, it all moved forward at lightning speed. Millions of people watched her audition online. She became a global sensation overnight, praised as the next Janis Joplin and admired for her fearless spirit. But behind the celebration and applause, Courtney's quiet world was slipping away, replaced by the heavy weight of fame. After her audition went viral, Courtney entered a new world filled with excitement but also chaos. She was suddenly invited onto talk shows, interviewed by reporters, and followed by fans everywhere she went. Her name appeared in headlines, and people online debated her talent, her style, and even her personality. For most teenagers, this level of attention would feel overwhelming, and for Courtney, it was even more difficult because she had always been shy and introverted. While she loved performing, she struggled with interviews and public expectations. The schedule was intense. She had rehearsals, meetings, photo shoots, and events almost every day. There was little time to rest or simply be a kid. She missed her home, her quiet village, and the small comforts of her old life. She missed being able to walk outside without cameras nearby. She missed the feeling of singing for fun instead of pressure. Each performance on America's Got Talent brought more praise, but it also brought greater expectations. People compared her every move to famous singers. Fans loved her, but the industry pushed her to keep up the excitement, to be bigger, louder, and faster. The spotlight that once felt magical slowly began to feel too bright. Courtney was only a child, but the world treated her like a product. Every mistake was judged. Every expression was analyzed. Every performance came with pressure to go viral again. The weight of millions of eyes watching her became heavy. She tried to stay strong, but inside she felt overwhelmed. Fame had arrived suddenly, and she barely had time to understand it. She was growing up in front of the world, and everything she did was being captured, shared, and discussed. Even after the show ended, the pressure remained. She received offers from record labels and producers who wanted to shape her into a certain kind of artist. Everyone had an opinion about what she should sound like or who she should become. Courtney wanted to create her own style, but finding herself in the middle of so much noise was extremely hard. The world celebrated her talent, but few people noticed the emotional cost it carried. As Courtney moved forward in her career, she continued to work on new music, releasing songs and performing at different events. She was grateful for the opportunities, and she wanted to grow as an artist. But as time went on, the emotional weight of fame did not get lighter. In fact, it grew heavier. Courtney's natural personality was calm and quiet, but the industry around her was loud, demanding, and always rushing. She struggled to balance being a teenager and being a public figure. She needed time to understand who she was, but the world around her kept pushing her to keep performing, keep posting, and keep delivering something new. Many young artists go through the same struggle, but Courtney's case was especially hard because the change happened so fast, almost overnight. People expected her to be confident, bold, and unstoppable all the time, but inside she often felt scared and unsure. She missed the days when singing was just something she loved, not something she had to do. She missed the freedom of performing without the pressure of millions watching. And she missed being able to grow at her own pace. Social media made everything worse. People commented on her looks, her voice, her actions, and even her silence. Some praised her, others criticized her without thinking about her age or feelings. Courtney became more careful, more quiet, and sometimes more distant because she didn't know how to handle the constant attention. The tragedy of her journey is not that she failed or faded away. It is that she had to give up parts of her childhood long before she was ready. She had to face pressure most adults would struggle with. She had to learn how to survive in a world that can be harsh, demanding, and unforgiving. Her story shows the hidden side of fame, the side that people do not see when they watch a powerful performance on stage. It reminds us that behind every talented young star is a real human being with fears, hopes, and emotions that deserve to be protected. Today, Courtney Hadwin remains a talented and inspiring young artist, but her journey teaches important lessons about fame, childhood, and emotional well-being. The world will always remember her unbelievable talent, her electric stage presence, and the way she could transform the atmosphere of a room within seconds. But it is equally important to remember the challenges she faced behind the scenes. Courtney's story shows that success can come with unseen struggles, especially for young people who are still trying to discover themselves. Fame can open doors, but it can also take away privacy, peace, and innocence. Many people only see the bright moments, golden buzzers, viral videos, and loud applause, but they don't see the pressure, the fear, the confusion, and the exhaustion that often come with it. Courtney had to grow up faster than most kids. She had to learn how to handle criticism, how to manage expectations, and how to stay strong in a world that constantly judged her. And yet, despite everything, she kept singing, kept creating, and kept moving forward. That strength is something truly admirable. Her story is heartbreaking, not because she failed, but because the world asked so much of her so quickly. But it is also hopeful, because she continues to follow her passion in her own way and at her own pace. Today, she is still young, still talented, and still full of potential. She has the chance to rebuild her path, to find her true voice, and to grow into the artist she wants to be, not the one others expect her to be. Courtney's journey reminds